This is Goku-san DBZ, and this is the second of the 3 normal comic book reviews. This is the review of Star Wars Shattered Empire issue number 2 of course, a 4-issue miniseries, which just ended last week, or actually, sorry, week before last. And as you can see, again, beautiful artwork. It's one thing about the Shattered Empire miniseries is beautiful artwork. Now, this takes place right after the end, of course, of Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi. And there we have a Star Destroyer, of course. And a high officer is alerting the captain. That's a special person has arrived. And this is a loyalist, a messenger, formerly of the Emperor, of course, which is obviously, of course, fell into the core of the second Death Star. And he does a blood test to make sure it's the correct captain to give the message to. And has like this little screen built on the helmet of the Emperor. Give him a message. To, even though basically he's of course fallen, to continue on his work. And to continue on the Empire. Obviously, this is probably the first steps to, of course, what we know now as the First Order. Also known as the remnants of the Empire. When we talk about the fall of the Empire stuff, he says it's nothing but rebel propaganda. And that's an act of treason to speak out against the Empire. So they continue on battling. And of course here we have a Imperial Walker. And here we have a fighter pilot that was introduced in the first volume. Of course, you have a short-range fighter, as well as you'll see on occasion also Imperial fighters. Now, she's flying a Y-wing, if I remember correctly, is what they're called. Those are Y-wings, which are kind of unusual-looking spacecrafts. I prefer, of course, obviously the X-wings, rather than the Y-wings. Now, this is an interesting turn of events. Obviously, beautiful artwork as always. One thing with a lot of the Star Wars issues. And we have, of course, this little air fight going on. And launches special magnetic bombs and stuff, which of course explodes and destroys the Imperial Walker. And of course they're then talking. She misses, of course, her companion, her husband, which is out on duty somewhere else with the rebellion. And there she's talking to, I guess you could say, a superior, who ends up transferring her, which we'll see. Of course, there's an ad for Daredevil. And here we go, of course, recognize this, main ship. And yes, this takes place 20 days after Battle of Endor. The very end of course, Return of the Jedi. And of course, you recognize her, superior officer from, of course, Return of the Jedi, which spoke and stuff in the briefing before they launch for the Force Moon of Endor. Of course, here we have, of course, Princess Leia. And here we have the fighter, which we saw in the first, and also not introduced here. Her partner is currently on a mission with Officer Solo, which is interesting. and she's going to be the pilot accompanying Leia on a special diplomatic mission. And it's going to be an interesting planet that they're going to be going to. Trust me, it's very interesting. Here we have a little small chat, back and forth about things. And she has to write message and stuff about, obviously, a person under her command who passed away. And that's right. Welcome to Theed, the capital of Naboo. Isn't that interesting? Leia is on a special diplomatic mission to Naboo, home of her biological mother's home planet that she was, of course, senator of and former queen of. And, of course, that being, obviously, Amidala. Which is awesome. The first time ever she steps foot on her mother's her biological mother's homeworld. Which is fascinating. And she wants to get assistance because Naboo has been a key player since the days of the Old Republic, 5,000 years prior to the movies. Naboo has been a player for many years, and obviously Naboo for the most part has stayed untouched. Why? Because this was the home planet also of Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious. Now, for those who hate the prequels, as you can see, you see nowhere any Gungans, so you'll be happy about that. And of course, he's welcoming, obviously, Princess Leia, and we recognize this from the prequel movies, and this is the current queen. Now, personally, even though she acts like she's really happy and stuff and willing to work with the Rebellion / New Republic, that face says something otherwise to me. And obviously, they discover that all of their reception stuff is all being jammed by this bad-looking thunderstorm. And then we look up to space, and we have, of course, Empire remnants here above Naboo using these special devices, causing giant, like, hurricanes, thunderstorms and stuff, destroying all transmissions and stuff from the planet, so no one can send any messages, obviously, to the Rebellion / New Republic. And he's planning on trying to destroy it all. And of course, you have to be continued. And obviously, this is the end of Volume 2 of Shattered Empire. And of course, here's the cover of the next issue. And here we have Lando Calrissian, obviously. And that is issue 2 of Star Wars Shattered Empire miniseries, part 2 of 4. And I hope you like this. I want to add, by some suggestions, stuff I got recently, last week, I'm trying to add a little bit more of my own personal opinion on, obviously, the comic book reviews and stuff now. So I'm now reading the issues more than once and stuff, so I can give a little bit more honest evaluation stuff of my own personal view on the comic. And I love this particular issue because it's interesting getting to see, flashback and stuff, getting to see Leia now visiting Naboo, the home planet of her mother. And we see that they have, I guess, the remnants of the Empire obviously now has something like what we know in conspiracy theories and stuff today in our world called the HARP system. And obviously they have it on a galactic scale, affecting an entire planet, trying to destroy it. So that's kind of interesting. But as always, this is GokuSunDBZ. And follow me at twitter.com/GokuSunDBZ. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. And tell me what's some of your favorite Marvel comics and some of your personal favorite Star Wars comics. And I highly recommend, if you get a chance, The two most highly regarded Star Wars comics so far I can personally refer to is number 1 being Darth Vader and number 2 being Shattered Empire. Then I would say third, for me personally, would have to be Kanan, the Last Padawan. But that's just me personally. But please, anyways, just leave me a comment and stay tuned for my next comic book review, which will be Spider-Gwen issue number 5. So stay tuned for that. Another Marvel review. And I hope everyone has a good week.